Assalamu alaikum, everybody. W- After my video earlier, the first video that I posted on why I'm not boycotting Woolworths over Pride, I ended it because I thought it was getting a bit long. But after that, there's so many other things that came to my mind that I felt that I needed to say that I didn't actually say. For example, in Cape Town, we've got this culture of moffies. Not a culture. We've got this. Yeah, We've got what we call gay people in Cape Town, in the Cape Malay, Cape Muslim, Cape Coloured community. We call them moffies. And I know maybe it's a pejorative term these days, but I use it here with the utmost affection and respect as a term of endearment. So I'm going to use the term moffies, but I'm going to apologize if I offend anybody and state categorically that I'm not meaning it as an insult. I actually mean it as a term of endearment, as a sign of affection. What I'm thinking is, in Cape Town, all the years through apartheid, we've had the moffies. The moffies who are good enough to do our hair because they're the best at what they do. The moffie who stick your midora, your child's midora, when they got married. And for those of you who don't know what a midora is, it's just a word for when the ladies come from Hajj, they wear this gold and silver outfits, and then they've got a scarf that's threaded with gold or silver. It's very expensive. It's quite heavy. I don't think they do it much anymore. But back in my mother's time, the hujaj would come back with this midora. So when a woman in the family would get married, a young girl, they would then make her headdress from the scarf, and it's a particular skill in the way they pin it. And there is a moffie in Cape Town who is famous and so in demand because he's the best at sticking this midora, right? Or pinning the scarf so that it looks like a crown or whatever headdress the bride wants. Um, and so these moffies are such an integral part of our culture that you can't go to a wedding without the midora not being pinned by a moffie in the community, or without the hair being done by a moffie in the community. We only go to certain hairdressers for generations because they're the best at doing our hair. The wedding dresses are made by moffies. Not all, but I mean, they're the best at what they do. So for all of a sudden, for us to want to be anti-LGBTQ is now cool, because now we anti-pride. When we have embraced these people in our community all the years, when the rest of the world shunned them, in Cape Town we embraced them. That doesn't mean to say that we condone what they do, because as Muslims we can't, but we never shunned them. Many of the Muslim muftis in our community have been for Hajj. They are stalwarts of the community. They people like the rest of us. Now you're telling us we must just reject their whole lifestyle. We go to the Koens, die voorlopers a moffie. We pay money to go watch Mark Lottering as anti-male. That's pride. We're celebrating pride because that's a man in drag. We went to go watch, and we paid money to go watch Nick Rabinowitz, Riyad Mosa, and Mark Lottering in Three Wise Men, and the sequel Three Wiser Men, which was a fantastic show. That is us celebrating pride. Now, who of us who want to boycott Woolworths for pride did not laugh us sick for those comedy shows? Don't laugh us sick for Mark Lottering. That is a part of our community. Now, instead of us shunning and condemning and the MJC being reactive to one person's feelings being hurt by Woolworths celebrating pride, which they're entitled to do, by the way, why does the MJC not go out and dawah? Why do they not speak to those people? Look, I don't know. I'm not a gay person. I don't know what they feel or how they feel, and that is why I don't want to judge. But if the MJC wants to help the community, then speak about these things. Speak about what the Quran allows, what it doesn't allow. And if somebody is having feelings, is there counseling that we can give them? What is it that they can do to make them feel like, as Muslims, that they can come closer to Allah? Because at the end of the day, Only Allah can judge. Only Allah is going to punish, and only Allah is going to reward us for the deeds that we do on this dunya. Nou wat's pointless, you styf toe gestik. Toe kies so styf, jy kan nie eens asemhaal nie, but you judging everybody. Because you know what Allah says, no? Allah is Ghafurur Rahim. That's what He says in the Quran. The most gracious, the most merciful. Allah is going to forgive. But we don't know if we hurt the next person's feelings, if they're going to forgive. So we must watch ourselves as individuals. We must watch ourselves as Muslims and try not to hurt other people's feelings. And I'm talking to myself here because this is something I'm very guilty of. And that is why it's such a good tradition when the Muslims go for Hajj. In Cape Town, we go and we all apologize to people asking them for maaf for things we may have done willingly, knowingly or unknowingly. Right? So I just want us as Muslims to reflect on, before we want to cancel everybody and boycott Woolworths, about what the role of the gay community within our community, how important they are to our culture and have always been in our culture. And now we want to shun them, we want to reject them, we want to boycott Woolworths because of pride. Then you must not boycott half of our heritage. You know, there's other ways to deal with the issue. I don't think boycotting Woolworths is going to help anyone. And the MJC must pull themselves toward themselves, and they must go out in the community, and they must go dawah. They must educate us on how to deal with things. If we have children or loved ones who feel gay or feel trans, how do we, from a Sharia, how do we try and help them? But judging them, boycotting them is not the way. It doesn't solve any problems. Okay, so I'm sure I'm going to have 10,000 other things to say about this, and I will update accordingly. But now I need to go. And I thank you guys for listening. Have a good rest of your day.